Commander Zillax screamed the termination order as 50 tons of quantum-reinforced defensive barrier broke free from its moorings and plummeted toward the human consultant. But Emma Johnson just reached up with her left hand, caught the collapsing wall mid-fall while keeping her coffee steady in her right, and asked, "Wait, this was your evacuation plan?" The Fortress Command Center went silent except for alarms. Every Krell officer stared at the impossible sight of their civilian maintenance contractor casually supporting a barrier section that required 6 industrial anti-grav units to install. The wall hung there, caught like a frisbee, while Emma looked around the frozen command staff with genuine confusion. "Seriously, guys," Emma said, adjusting her grip slightly. The wall shifted with a grinding metallic groan. "Is someone going to tell me where you want this, or am I just holding it all day?" Zillax's 3 eyes blinked in sequence, his translator temporarily offline from shock. Around him, tactical displays flashed crimson warnings about cascading structural failures throughout the fortress. The enemy siege had finally broken through their outer quantum shielding, and now the entire defensive complex was collapsing inward. 50,000 civilians in the lower levels, 12 minutes to total structural failure. He'd ordered evacuation, but the routes were blocked by debris, and now... "Commander," Tactical Officer Kaeldra whispered, her voice scaling up in panic. "Commander, that section weighs 49.7 metric tons. Quantum-reinforced durasteel with integrated shielding matrices. The human just..." According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. "I can see what the human just did," Zillax snapped, his command training finally kicking back in. He activated his comm. "Engineering, I need a structural assessment of Section 7 Delta immediately." Emma sighed and took a sip of coffee. "Look, I get that you're busy with the whole siege thing, but this is getting heavy. Well, not heavy, but my arm's getting tired. Where do you want it?" "Getting tired?" Zillax repeated slowly. "Yeah, muscle fatigue. I've been holding it for like 2 minutes now." She glanced at the wall she was supporting with one hand. "Actually, why did this fall in the first place? These mounting brackets look fine." She peered closer, leaning in while still holding the wall. "Oh, I see. You guys used quantum bond adhesive instead of actual structural bolts. Who signed off on that?" The fortress shuddered. 3 more sections of the defensive grid destabilized, their quantum matrices failing under enemy bombardment. Warning klaxons layered into a symphony of catastrophic failure. "Human Emma," Zillax said carefully, his tactical mind trying to process the situation. "Please set down the barrier section slowly. The structural integrity..." "Where?" Emma interrupted. "There's debris everywhere. If I set it down wrong, it'll probably roll into something important." She shifted her weight, and the wall moved with her like it was part of her body. "Actually, you know what? This angle is terrible for defense anyway. The enemy bombardment is coming from grid coordinates 447 through 451, right? This section would work better rotated about 30 degrees and moved 6 meters north. Better deflection angle." Kaeldra's workstation chimed. "Sir, I'm reading force output from the human's position equivalent to... This can't be right. This is cruiser-level thrust capacity." "Recalibrate your sensors," Zillax ordered. "I've recalibrated 3 times. The readings are increasing. She's adjusting her grip, and the force distribution is..." Kaeldra's voice cracked. "Sir, she's moving it." Emma had indeed started walking, carrying the 50-ton wall section like an oversized surfboard. She navigated around debris, stepped over a collapsed support beam, and repositioned the barrier to her suggested coordinates. "There. See? Much better coverage. Now, do you guys have actual mounting bolts, or should I just hold it here while you figure things out?" The command center had devolved into chaos. Junior officers were frantically recalculating defensive positions. Senior engineers were pulling up human physiological data and comparing it to observed reality. Nothing matched. The database says humans evolved on a 1.0 G world, one engineer muttered. Standard bipedal musculature. This is impossible. Another explosion rocked the fortress. Section 12's defensive wall cracked with a sound like a planet breaking. The massive barrier, identical to the one Emma held, tilted inward, its quantum bonds severing. "Evacuate Section 12, Zilax commanded. "All personnel fall back to—" Emma was already moving. She set down her current wall, just placed it against the fortress exterior like leaning a painting against a wall, and jogged towards Section 12. Actually jogged, like this was a normal day. "Emma, wait!" Kyldra called out. "That section is—" The wall fell. 49.7 metric tons of quantum-reinforced durasteel plummeting toward 36 evacuation personnel who'd been too slow to clear the area. Emma caught it with both hands this time, stepping into the impact with a slight grunt. Her coffee she'd set down. The wall hit her palms with a boom that registered on seismic sensors, but she absorbed the impact, bent her knees, and pushed back up, lifting the wall overhead. "Okay," Emma said, her voice strained slightly. "Okay, this is actually getting annoying. How many of these walls did you guys install wrong?" Zilax couldn't speak. His entire military career, his decorated service record, his tactical certifications, none of it had prepared him for watching a human maintenance technician bench press their fortifications. "Commander," Kyldra said quietly, "I'm reading her force output now. She's exerting upward thrust equivalent to a Class 7 cargo lifter, while standing on her feet, on a biological skeleton." "That's not possible," Zilax said automatically. "And yet," Kyldra gestured at her displays, where Emma was now casually examining the second wall she held, looking for defects while supporting it overhead. Emma rotated the wall, inspecting the mounting hardware. "Yeah, same problem. Quantum adhesive, no structural bolts. Who's your contractor? Because they're cutting some serious corners on a military installation." "During a siege." She laughed, actually laughed. "And here I thought my landlord was bad." "Human Emma," Zilax said, his command voice finally returning. "We need you to set down that section and evacuate to the lower levels immediately." "Why? I'm helping." "You're a civilian contractor. This is a combat zone." "Yeah, and your combat zone is falling apart because nobody used proper mounting hardware." Emma shifted the wall to one hand, and pointed with the other. "See that section over there? Section 9? It's about to go too. Same shoddy installation. You want me to just let it fall on people?" Section 9 groaned on cue. The quantum bonds flickered, destabilizing. Zilax made a decision that would either save his career or end it. "Kyldra, redirect all engineering personnel to Emma's position. If she can stabilize the defensive grid, we coordinate around her." "Sir, the protocols don't account for humans catching buildings." Zilax activated fortress-wide comms. "All units, this is Commander Zilax. Human contractor Emma Johnson is hereby authorized to perform emergency structural stabilization. All personnel are to assist and stay clear of falling sections. Engineering teams prioritize proper mounting hardware delivery." Emma had already moved to Section 9. She caught it as it fell, was getting good at the timing now, and held it steady. "Finally." "Okay, so I need M40 structural bolts, titanium grade or better, and a proper torque wrench, not these quantum whatever tools, actual hardware." "We don't have M40 bolts," an engineer said weakly. "That's human classification." "Then get me your equivalent, just something that actually bolts through load-bearing surfaces." Emma looked around at the Krell personnel. "How do you guys not have this? What happens when your quantum stuff fails?" "It doesn't fail," the engineer said. "Quantum bond adhesive maintains molecular cohesion through—" "It's failing right now," Emma interrupted, holding up the wall as proof. "Look, I'm not a physicist, okay? I'm a maintenance tech from Cleveland. But I know you don't build anything important without backup systems. Where are your physical mounts? Silence. Oh my God, Emma said. Oh my God, you don't have any. Your entire fortress is held together with space glue. Quantum bond adhesive is rated for, yeah, rated until someone shoots at it. Emma set down the Section 9 wall carefully and moved to Section 15, which was starting to crack. New plan. I'm going to hold things together while you guys figure out actual structural engineering. Where's your welding equipment? Our what? Welding. Joining metal with heat. Please tell me you have welding. A junior engineer raised one manipulator tentatively. We have molecular fusion equipment. Close enough. Get it. All of it. And bring me whatever counts as support beams in your supply depot. Emma caught Section 15 as it detached, now holding two walls again. And maybe a snack? I'm going to be here a while. Zillax watched the human contractor, the woman they'd hired to fix their air recyclers and check door seals, casually juggle their collapsing fortress. His tactical mind, trained for decades, tried to process the battlefield reality. Kaeldra, he said slowly, contact High Command. Tell them we have a situation. What kind of situation, sir? The kind where our civilian maintenance worker is our most effective defensive asset. Senior Engineer Vexthul arrived 17 minutes later with an emergency response team and enough equipment to rebuild half the fortress. He took one look at Emma, who was now supporting 3 separate wall sections while using her foot to hold a fourth against the foundation, and his translator emitted a sound like a dying computer. Explain, Vexthul demanded. Human contractor caught the collapsing sections, Zillax said flatly. She's been holding structural integrity for 19 minutes. She's... Vexthul pulled up his tactical display. His eyes widened. She's supporting over 140 metric tons on a biological frame, while standing. We noticed, Emma waved from her position. Hey, are you the guy with the welding stuff? Great. I need you to fuse support beams here, here, and here. She gestured with her chin, hands being occupied with walls. And someone needs to check sections 20 through 25. They're next. Vexthul approached slowly, like Emma might explode. Human Emma, I need to understand how you're accomplishing this. The physiological requirements alone. Look, I don't know what to tell you, Emma said. I'm strong? Humans are strong. We evolved on a 1G planet. You guys have, what, 0.6G here? 0.587 standard gravities, yes. Right, so everything here is lighter. Your walls, your equipment, your buildings. It's all built for lower gravity. To me, it's like, Emma considered. Like if you went to a planet with half your gravity. Everything would feel lighter, right? The mathematics doesn't support that level of differential, Vexthul protested. Your strength ratio should be approximately 1.7 times ours, not, he checked his display, not 47 times. 47? Emma blinked. Huh, okay, maybe I work out more than I thought. You work out? Yeah, I do CrossFit on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I help my brother move furniture sometimes. He's always buying new couches. Emma shifted the walls slightly. Are we doing this welding thing or not? Because I'm getting actually tired now. Vexthul's engineering team deployed, setting up molecular fusion equipment around Emma's position. They worked in terrified silence, attaching support beams while Emma held the walls steady. She gave helpful suggestions, like she did this every weekend. That beam's not load-bearing at that angle, Emma commented. Rotate it 15 degrees, yeah, like that. Perfect. How do you know structural engineering? Vexthul asked. Community college. I took a semester of civil engineering before switching to HVAC maintenance. Didn't like the math, but I remember the basics. Community college. Yeah, it's like school, but cheaper, and you can take whatever. Emma watched the welding work. Hey, that fusion bond looks good, but you need a cross brace there or it'll shear under lateral stress. Vexthul added the cross brace without argument. His entire understanding of material science was reorganizing around a human contractor with 1 semester of community college. The fortress shook again, enemy bombardment intensifying. Section 23's wall cracked. "Called it," Emma said. "Someone want to get that?" No one moved. "Seriously? Okay, fine." Emma carefully set down 2 of her 3 walls, leaving one hand holding Section 15. She jogged to Section 23 with her free hand ready. "She's going to catch it one-handed," Kaldra whispered over comms. "I know," Zilax replied. Emma caught Section 23 one-handed as it fell, adding it to her collection. Now she held 2 massive wall sections, one in each hand, like the universe's most stressed waiter. "This is ridiculous," she called out. "You guys need to evacuate while I stabilize this mess." "We're military personnel," Zilax responded. "We don't abandon our posts." "Your posts are falling down." "Then we'll fall with them." Emma stared at him. "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I once watched my ex-boyfriend try to deep-fry ice cream." She looked at the walls she held, then at the fortress around her, then back at Zilax. "Okay, new plan. How many sections total in this defensive grid?" 47 primary sections, Kaldra said. "And how many are about to fail?" "Current projections show cascade failure across all sections within 8 minutes. Emma nodded slowly. "Right, and you can't evacuate everyone in 8 minutes." "Correct. So if these walls fall, everyone dies." "That is accurate." Emma took a deep breath, set down both walls carefully, rolled her shoulders. Okay, I can work with this." She looked at Zilax. "I'm going to need everyone to get out of the defensive grid sections. Everyone, clear the whole perimeter." "Why?" "Because I'm going to fix your entire fortress, and I don't want anyone getting stepped on." "Fix the... Emma, that's 47 separate sections, each weighing..." "Yeah, I can do math." Emma stretched her arms, warming up. "Vexthul, I need your fusion equipment set to automatic. Can you program it to follow a pattern?" "What pattern?" "I'm going to hold the walls in place. You're going to weld support structures while I hold them. We're going to do the whole fortress in..." She checked her watch. "We've got 8 minutes. We'll do it in 6. "That's impossible," Vexthul said automatically. Emma grinned. "You guys keep saying that word. I don't think it means what you think it means." She moved to Section 1 and pressed her palm against it. The wall was stable, but she ran her hand along the mounting points, finding the weaknesses. "Here. Weld here." Vexthul's team deployed fusion equipment. Emma moved to Section 2 while they worked, holding it steady with one hand while inspecting the brackets with the other. Her movements were efficient, practiced, like she was checking door hinges instead of managing a collapsing military installation. "Section 2 needs cross-bracing, not just perimeter welds," Emma called out. "Section 3 has a crack in the substrate. See it? That needs to be filled before welding, or it'll propagate." She moved along the defensive grid like a professional contractor inspecting a job site, except the job site was a fortress under siege, and she was personally supporting each section as she evaluated it. Zilax watched from the command center, his tactical display tracking Emma's progress. She was moving faster now, her initial caution replaced with confidence. She'd stabilized 12 sections in 3 minutes. "Sir," Kaldra said quietly, "the enemy bombardment." "They've stopped." Zilax checked his display. She was right. The siege weapons had gone quiet. "Why would they stop?" Vexthul asked over comms. The answer came from their perimeter sensors. The enemy commander was requesting a communication channel. Zilax opened it. "This is Commander Zilax of the Krell Defense Force. This is Siege Commander R. Hill of the Vexian Empire." The voice was strained. "We're detecting impossible readings from your fortress." "Some kind of weapon? A force projection system we've never encountered." Zilax looked at his display, where Emma was now manually repositioning a wall section to a better defensive angle, while holding 2 other sections. "Define impossible readings." "Force output equivalent to our heaviest siege equipment." But it's moving, walking around your perimeter, and it appears to be, Hill paused. It appears to be conducting repairs under fire. What kind of weapon system is this? Zilax felt a smile spreading across his face. That's not a weapon system, Commander. That's our maintenance technician. Your what? Her name is Emma Johnson. She's from Earth, and she's fixing our fortress because your bombardment broke it. Silence on the comm channel. Long, confused silence. Commander, R. Hill finally said, are you claiming that a single biological entity is generating force output equivalent to 12 siege platforms? I'm claiming that Emma thinks your invasion is kind of rude, and she's annoyed that she has to work late. Zilax checked the tactical display. Emma had stabilized 31 sections now. I'm also claiming that if you continue your attack, you're going to make her actually mad, and I have no idea what happens then. Another pause. Commander Zilax, the Vexian Empire does not negotiate with... Emma's voice crackled over the open channel. Hey, whoever's shooting at us, can you not? I'm trying to work here. Who is this? Rahil demanded. I'm Emma. I'm the maintenance tech, and you guys keep shaking the fortress while I'm trying to weld support beams. Do you know how dangerous that is? The human is concerned about welding safety. Yeah, I could drop something, or someone could get burned. This is an OSHA violation waiting to happen. Emma paused. Wait, do you guys have OSHA? You should really have OSHA. Zilax watched his tactical display as Emma finished Section 34 and moved to 35. She was going to make it. She was actually going to stabilize the entire fortress. Siege Commander R. Hill, Zilax said formally, I recommend you withdraw your forces. On what grounds? On the grounds that if you damage this fortress any further, Emma's going to come out there and talk to you about proper workplace safety. And trust me, you don't want that conversation. 6 minutes and 43 seconds after she started, Emma stepped back from Section 47 and dusted off her hands. Every wall section was secured, cross-braced, and properly welded. The fortress defense grid glowed on tactical displays, structural integrity at 97%. The Vexian siege force had withdrawn. Emma walked back to the command center, picked up her now cold coffee and took a sip, made a face. Ugh, cold. You guys got a microwave? Zilax stared at her. Every officer in the command center stared at her. Vexthul was taking readings with 3 different instruments, his manipulators shaking. Zilax started, then stopped. You just stabilized our entire fortress, during a siege, in under 7 minutes. Yeah, well, you guys needed help. Emma looked around. So, microwave? The human is asking about food preparation, Kyldra said faintly. I mean, it's lunchtime, Emma said. I've been here since 600. Is there a cafeteria or something? Vexthul made a strangled sound. You supported 140 metric tons, performed structural engineering across 47 sections, and your primary concern is lunch? I mean, yeah. I work better when I'm not hungry. Emma spotted a door. Is that the cafeteria? I'm going to grab something. You guys figure out the paperwork for this. She walked out. The command center remained silent for a long moment. Sir, Kyldra finally said, what just happened? Zilax sat down heavily in his command chair. We just discovered that human normal is our impossible. Vexthul was still reviewing his readings. The force requirements alone, the caloric expenditure, the muscular load distribution, none of this should be possible. And yet, Zilax replied, contact High Command. Tell them we need to recalculate every assumption we have about human contractors, and probably humans in general. What do I tell them specifically? Zilax thought about Emma catching 50-ton walls one-handed, about her casually supporting their entire fortress, about her being annoyed that someone might get burned during a siege. Tell them, he said slowly, that we need to update our building codes. All of them. Immediately. The Galactic Engineering Summit convened 3 days later in emergency session. Representatives from 73 species gathered virtually, their holographic forms filling the council chamber. At the center, Vex Thul presented his findings. The human-designated Emma Johnson, he began, performed structural stabilization across 47 defensive sections in 6 minutes and 43 seconds. Force output measurements indicate she exerted sustained pressure equivalent to 12 Class 7 industrial lifters while walking on biological legs. The chamber erupted in overlapping questions. Vexathul raised his manipulators for silence. The critical factor, he continued, is gravitational adaptation. Humans evolved on a 1.0 G world with significant tectonic activity, atmospheric pressure variations, and extreme temperature fluctuations. Their physiology adapted to constant high-stress environmental conditions. A Tenthari engineer activated her microphone. You're saying they're naturally stronger? I'm saying their concept of normal includes surviving conditions we would classify as catastrophic. Vex Thul pulled up data charts. Human bone density is 47% higher than galactic average. Muscle fiber composition is optimized for sustained heavy loads. Their cardiovascular system is designed for extended high-output performance. They evolved to survive their planet, trying to kill them constantly. This is one individual, another delegate protested. An outlier. We ran comparisons. Vex Thul displayed Emma's physiological profile next to standard human baseline data. Emma Johnson is classified as slightly above average for human females in her age category. She exercises twice weekly and considers herself moderately fit. The chamber went quiet. If she's average, someone asked slowly, what are their exceptional specimens capable of? We don't know. We're afraid to find out. More silence. A senior Krell administrator activated his channel. What are the implications for galactic construction standards? Total revision, Vex Thul said bluntly. Our entire infrastructure is built for lower gravity, less environmental stress, and species that evolved in gentle conditions. Humans walk through our buildings like we walk through paper. So we need to strengthen everything? Yes, but there's a complication. Vex Thul pulled up Emma's engineering notes, the casual suggestions she'd made while literally holding up the fortress. The human has better structural engineering instincts than most of our certified experts. Her recommendations improved our defensive integrity by 34%. A maintenance technician. A maintenance technician with 1 semester of community college education, Vex Thul confirmed. She identified load-bearing deficiencies our senior engineers missed while holding several tons of wall, while complaining about cold coffee. The Tenthari engineer spoke again. What do we do? Vex Thul looked around the virtual chamber. We adapt. We implement human-grade construction standards across all facilities that might host them. We develop new protocols, and we pray they don't realize they could probably just walk through our walls if they wanted to. That's ridiculous, someone protested. Surely they realize. They don't, Zilax cut in, his hologram appearing alongside Vex Thul's. I've reviewed Emma Johnson's contract. She hasn't reported any unusual experiences. To her, our buildings are normal. Our equipment is normal. She thinks we're just bad at construction. Mother of stars, the administrator breathed. They don't know they're anomalous. Exactly. They evolved on a hell world and think it's normal. They came to the galaxy and think we're fragile. Zilax pulled up tactical recordings of Emma catching walls. This is what humans consider helping out. This is them being gentle. The summit dissolved into chaos, engineers arguing, administrators panicking, military advisors calculating threat matrices. In the center, Vex Thul and Zilax watched the debate spiral. You think this will work? Vex Thul asked quietly. It has to, Zilax replied. Because the alternative is explaining to the galaxy that humans are accidentally terrifying, and I don't think anyone's ready for that conversation. Emma returned to work the following Monday. Her supervisor, a nervous Krell named Gnix, met her at the maintenance office with a stack of forms. Emma, Gnix said carefully, about the fortress incident. Oh yeah, Sorry about the overtime. I meant to submit that, but the system was down. Emma pulled up her data pad. I worked, let's see, 6 hours and 43 minutes of emergency structural repair. That's time and a half after 5 hours, right? Yes, that's correct. Ginix pushed the forms forward. I also need you to sign these. They're updates to your contract. Emma scanned them. Structural engineering consultant? That's not my job. It is now, with a significant pay increase. How significant? Ginix showed her the number. Emma's eyes widened. That's really significant. High Command wants to ensure you're available for future emergencies, and they'd like you to review our building codes. All of them. All of them? Ginix, I'm a maintenance tech. I fix air recyclers and door seals. You also caught buildings. Well, yeah, but that was an emergency. The walls were falling. Emma looked confused. What was I supposed to do, let them crush people? Ginix made a gesture of peaceful agreement. Of course not. That would be terrible. It's just that most species can't catch buildings. It's not considered a normal capability. Oh, Emma thought about that. I mean, they weren't that heavy. You guys have lower gravity here. Everything's lighter. Emma, you supported over 140 tons. Sure, but Emma paused. Wait, seriously? That much? Yes. Emma looked at her hands, flexed her fingers. Okay, that's actually pretty heavy. Maybe I've been working out more than I thought. Perhaps. Ginix pushed forward another document. This is a request from the Galactic Engineering Corps. They'd like you to teach a seminar on structural integrity. I took 1 semester of civil engineering. I barely passed. You demonstrated more practical knowledge in 6 minutes than most engineers show in their entire careers. That's just common sense stuff. Cross-bracing, load distribution, proper mounting hardware, that's basic. For you, for us, it's revolutionary. Ginix leaned forward. Emma, your species evolved on a planet we classify as a Class 9 death world. Your normal is our extreme. Your basic is our advanced. You don't realize how strong you are because everyone on your planet is that strong. Emma sat back in her chair. So, wait. You're saying humans are weird? We're saying humans are magnificent and slightly terrifying. Emma considered that. Shrugged. Okay, I can work with that. So about this seminar, do I have to travel? Because I've got a lease and a cat, and Mr. Whiskers gets cranky when I'm gone too long. We'll arrange remote teaching. Great, and the pay increase applies to the teaching too, right? Yes. Awesome. Emma stood up, collected her tools. Cool. I'm going to go fix the air recycler in Section 12. Apparently, it's making weird noises. Emma, Ginix called as she headed for the door. Thank you for saving the fortress, for saving everyone. Emma smiled. No problem. That's what maintenance people do. We keep things running. She paused at the doorway. Although seriously, you guys need to use actual bolts on load-bearing structures. Quantum adhesive is great and all, but it's not a replacement for proper hardware. We're updating all our standards based on your recommendations. Good, because next time something falls, I might not be around to catch it. Emma waved and headed out into the corridor, her tool belt jingling. Ginix watched her go, then activated his comm. Commander Zilax? She has no idea. None at all, Zilax confirmed. She thinks we're just bad at building things. Should we tell her? Tell her what? That she's 47 times stronger than galactic average? That she violated 6 laws of physics? That she ended a siege by asking the enemy to stop shaking the building? Zilax laughed, a sound like clicking stones. No. Let her think we're just incompetent. It's easier than explaining that humans are walking natural disasters who happen to be friendly. The High Command wants to classify her as a defensive asset. The High Command can file that in the Things We're Not Telling Emma folder. Zilax paused. She's a good person, Genix. She saved thousands of lives because it was the right thing to do. The fact that she did it impossibly doesn't change that. We honor that by letting her live normally. We adapt to her, not the other way around. Understood, Commander. Good. Now I believe she mentioned something about an air recycler making weird noises. Section 12. I'm sending a supervisor to assist. Make sure they bring proper tools, and maybe snacks. She mentioned being hungry a lot during the Fortress incident. 3 months later, the Galactic Engineering Corps published their revised construction standards. The document ran to 3,000 pages and referenced the Johnson Protocols 647 times. Section 1.1 read, all structures must be capable of withstanding forces equivalent to human normal interaction. This includes, but is not limited to, casual leaning, minor impacts, and what humans classify as being careful. Section 4.7 included a note. All load-bearing structures require physical mounting hardware in addition to molecular bonding. C. Johnson, E. Structural Engineering. 101. Just use actual bolts. Section 12.3 had a highlighted warning. If a human suggests a structural modification, implement immediately. They evolved on a planet that actively tried to kill them. Their engineering instincts are survival-based and should be considered superior to all calculated models. The appendix contained Emma's complete fortress repair protocol, now taught in engineering schools across 73 worlds. Emma herself remained unaware of her galactic fame. She fixed air recyclers, checked door seals, and occasionally caught falling objects when workers dropped things. She thought she was just being helpful. The galaxy, meanwhile, quietly reinforced every building humans might visit, updated emergency protocols to account for human-assisted rescue operations, and established a new certification, human-grade construction standards. In the maintenance office of Krell Station 7, Emma Johnson finished her shift, submitted her time card, and headed home to feed her cat. Behind her, the fortress she'd saved stood solid, its walls properly bolted and cross-braced according to human common sense. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson. Human normal was everyone else's impossible. And sometimes the best solution to a crisis was a maintenance tech from Cleveland with a semester of community college and a complete lack of understanding about how special she actually was. Commander Zilax watched the evening reports from his office. The fortress was secure. The defensive grid was running at optimal efficiency. Emma's recommended modifications had improved structural integrity across the entire station. He pulled up her personnel file one more time, reading the simple description: maintenance technician, HVAC specialist, light structural work as needed. He added a note to her file: saves buildings, ends sieges, makes terrible jokes, does not realize she's a walking force of nature. Recommend continued employment and never tell her. He saved the file and looked out at the fortress Emma had saved. Tomorrow she'd be back, fixing door seals and air recyclers, completely unaware that she'd change galactic engineering forever by catching a few falling walls and asking the most devastating question in military history. This was the plan?